Hello, everyone. Thank you once again for your kind patience and understanding. Here I am doing my second recording. Believe me, this is not easy, but I'm, okay, just trying to do my very best. Okay, so here we go, right? In my second lecture, okay, we are going to talk about the specific features for language learning strategies, factors affecting our language learning strategy use. And finally, I will wrap up the second recording, okay, with a brief introduction to Rebecca Oxford's strategy taxonomy. Okay, so let's start. Now, as you can see on this slide, I listed in very beautiful colors the 12 specific features for language learning strategies. Okay, namely, for example, learning strategies are goal-oriented, they are self-directed, okay, they change the roles, okay, of teachers, and then they are problem-oriented, action-based. They also include different aspects of learning. Now, learning strategies also support learning, right? And then they involve certain degrees of observability. They also involves different levels of consciousness. Now, we also believe that learning strategies are teachable. Okay, they are flexible, and learners can use them appropriately, for different language tasks. And finally, we talk about the fact that when we use learning strategies, okay, there are many different factors involved. Okay, now let's start with the first feature of language learning strategies. Okay, they are goal-oriented. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, we set up goals, right, in our life, and then we try our best to achieve the goals. So how do we do that? We need to use methods. We need to use different skills or ways. And these methods and skills, okay, are what we mean by strategies. For language learning, okay, everyone has a different goal for your, language learning. For example, some people would like to become efficient readers, right? They want to be able to read Time magazine. Some people would like to become fluent speakers so that they can feel confident in speaking to native speakers. So setting up different goals, and then we try to use different strategies to help us achieve these goals. And that's what we mean by language learning strategies are goal oriented. Now, I found this very nice quote that I would like to share with you. Okay, that is, most of the problems in life are because of the two reasons. Okay, first of all, we act without thinking, or we keep thinking, without acting. These two reasons just sound just like me and my husband, because I am a doer. Okay, my husband is very much of a thinker. And I guess, that's why, we are a good couple. All right. The second feature, for language learning strategies are, they are self-directed. Now, what do we mean? Okay, if you take a look at, this graph here, traditionally, we learning, is teacher directed. Uh, um, Whereas, by using learning strategies, we would like to, help learners become self-directed, directed learner. I'll give you a good example. Now, think about, here in Taiwan, many students are very passive learners, right? They don't take initiatives in learning. But if we apply language learning strategies, we are able to become independent, and responsible, learners. We take initiatives, while we take responsibilities for our own learning. And then by doing this, we will become more engaged in our learning. And then, of course, right, we will gain more confidence. And by doing all this, we will eventually achieve, our goals in language learning, to become more efficient, learners, and then gaining, more self-efficacy, okay? Okay, now the third feature for language learning strategies are the roles of teachers. In other words, by applying language learning strategies, we change the traditional roles of a teacher. What do we mean by that? Well, think about this. Okay, traditionally teachers are okay like our parent. Okay, right? They are instructors. They are our directors. They are managers. They manage our learning, right? They are also okay, right? Leaders and controllers. But by applying language learning strategies, okay, we believe that teachers' roles will be changed. In other words, okay, because learners become more independent, they take responsibility for their own learning, and therefore, okay, teachers will be no longer be any of the traditional roles that I just mentioned. Instead, okay, they will become facilitator, right? Facilitating our learning. They will become our consultant, okay, our advisor, okay, coordinator and co-communicator. Now I found, this is very nice quote here. It says, the best teachers are those who show you where to look, but don't, okay, tell you what to see. And then in the middle, you can see, right, okay, the different roles of a language learner, different roles of, okay, teachers. So they are our leader, our role model, okay, our mentor, okay, our coach, and our advisor. All right, now let's take a look at the number 4 feature of the language learning strategies. We believe, okay, they are problem oriented. Now, what does that mean? Well, think about this. When we face problems, when problems, okay, right, okay, come up, we need to try to solve the problems. So how do we do that? Okay, we apply different methods, right? And then language learning strategies come into play, right? They are the methods that we use to solve our language learning difficulties. As you can see here, okay, how do we do that? Okay, we first identify the problems, and then we need to, okay, right, apply strategies to make changes, right? And then, okay, we need to take actions, okay, by implementing, okay, the strategies. And then finally, we also need to come back and monitor our own learning. All right. Now let's take a look at the number 5 feature of the language learning strategies. We believe, okay, they are action based. Now, what does that mean? When we apply language learning strategies, we take specific actions. Okay, for example, in order to become a better listener in class, so when we go to professors' lectures, okay, we apply listening strategies. One of the most important listening strategies would be note taking, right? So you take notes, right? And then if you want to become, more efficient speakers, what do you need to do? You need to apply social strategies, right? You need to interact with people, okay, who can help you become, okay, better speakers. And that's why we say language learning strategies are action based. Okay. Now, the number 6 feature for language learning strategies are the fact that they encompass different aspects of learning. As you can see here, okay, according to the textbook, language learning strategies, includes different aspects of learning. In addition to cognition, which means, the direct learning itself, okay, there are other aspects about learning that we need to attend to. For example, okay, our planning, okay, our organizing, our evaluating, okay, our monitoring, okay, of our own learning. Remember, that's what I said, POEN, okay, an acronym. So this picture on the left tells you something about this, right? So these are the metacognition aspect of language learning. Language learning, okay, strategies also, okay, involved our social aspects and our affective aspects. In other words, right, we need to apply social strategies to become more, fluent speakers. We need to, okay, take opportunities, okay, right, to read, to become, okay, a better reader. And then, in terms of language learning, the aspect of affective, okay, is also very important. What do we mean by that? We believe that when learners are highly motivated, they are okay, right? They achieve better learning results. In other words, learners' mood in learning, okay, learners, emotional response, learners' motivation in learning. Okay, these are all very important aspects of a learning. And then language learning strategies, okay, right, covered, different aspects of the learning. All right, moving on to the next feature for language learning strategies. We believe they support learning. In other words, they do not only include the direct strategies, okay, that are directly related to language learning, namely, okay, the cognitive strategies, memory strategies, and compensation strategies. We believe, okay, there are other aspects of learning that we need to attend to, and then by applying the indirect strategies, okay, for example, paying more attention to our POEM, okay, about our learning, apply more social strategies, to help us become a better, okay, language speaker or learner, and then paying more attention to the emotional response or motivational issues about learning. So, okay, the indirect strategies, okay, support the direct, by applying the indirect strategies, we support, okay, our learning. All right. So additionally, okay, we would also like to talk about the number 8 feature, which is language learning strategies use, okay, involve, okay, certain degrees of observability. Now, what do we mean by that? Take a look at the word, okay, observe and observable, right? If it is a specific actions, we can see, of course, they are observable. And then, let's take a look at many of the strategies under different strategy categories. For example, taking notes, right? You can see me take notes, right? Asking for clarification. That's one compensation strategies, right? Using a to-do list to help us, prioritize what we need to do first and second, right? This is also a very important strategies. And then we can see, okay, the to-do list, right? Repeating, whether it is repeatedly writing down things or repeatedly, okay, right, saying something, out loud, or practicing with others. All these strategies that we apply, okay, they are specific actions that we take. So, okay, they can be seen, they are observable. What about, okay, right, certain strategies that cannot be observed, and therefore they are not observable? For example, when we are trying to make mental associations, or when we, okay, right, see a word that we don't know, and then we are trying to, okay, guess the meaning based, based on the contextual clues. Or, okay, when we apply images and sounds, okay, to try to, tackle a word. So these are all strategies that cannot be observed. And that's why I don't know if you still remember in our last, the first recording, I talked about, the fact that certain strategies can be seen, they are observable. And then Rebecca Oxford, okay, in the second definition for language learning strategies, okay, she says that learning strategies are specific actions, behaviors, and also, okay, right, thoughts, right? When we say thoughts, that means they cannot be seen, they cannot be observed. And that's why we believe that, okay, strategies involves different degrees of observability, okay? Okay, now we are moving on to the number 9 feature for language learning strategies, which we believe that they involve different levels of consciousness. In other words, there are learners who actually are very advanced learners. They actually apply strategies without knowing that they are using strategies. Whereas in our focus here, we highlight the fact that when learners conduct different language tasks, okay, they applied language learning strategies, knowing that they are using different strategies for different purposes. And therefore, we believe that when applying language learning strategies, it is important that learners, okay, know they are aware of the fact that they are using, okay, strategies. Okay, so let's take a look at number 10 features. We believe language learning strategies are teachable. In other words, okay, there is a degree of teachability involved. Now, think about the fact that all teachers in this world believe that their students are teachable, right? In other words, when we talk about learning strategies, we believe that they can be taught to language learners in order to help learners to become more efficient, okay, learner. Now, think about the fact that there are some students out there who probably do not have a very clear understanding about certain language learning strategies. Or think about yourself. When you first came to this class, you probably were not aware of the strategies that you have been using. But by raising your awareness, right, and then by conducting strategy training, we would like to provide you opportunities for you to try to use the strategies that you really use, or we can help the low achieving students who are poor language learners. If we teach them strategies, we believe that this will help them become more efficient learners. And that's why we believe that the number 10 feature for language learning strategies is that learning strategies are teachable. Okay, now we are about to come to the end of the 12 features. Feature number 11, language learning strategies involve a certain degree of flexibility. In other words, when learners deal with different language tasks to achieve different purpose, they would apply different strategies. For example, when you are taking a listening exam, right, listening test, okay, you would apply different kinds of listening strategies. The same, okay, go for in order for you to become a more fluent speaker, you would probably apply more social strategies. In other words, language learning strategy use can be quite flexible without being limited to a certain pattern. And then we also believe that successful language learning may depend on appropriate quantity and quality use of language learning strategies. Now, quantity, here means how many strategies you use. According to research, we have found that more successful language learners apply more, language learning strategies. And then not only do they use more strategies, they also know how to use different and specific strategies in order to help them achieve different goals. And in other words, each individual use different strategies, and then strategy use for different people can be something very flexible. Okay, finally, we are at the very last feature for language learning strategies. Here we talk about learning strategies involves different factors. In other words, the degree of awareness, the stage of the learning, the task requirements, or teacher expectation, right? These all affect our strategy use. In addition, we also believe that strategy use also depend on different age group of learners, right? Gender also can be a factor. Male learners and female learners applying different learning strategies. We also believe that the cultural background you come from, the ethnic background you come from. For example, Taiwanese learners of English probably use different strategies compared to French learners of the English, right? Our general learning style, our personality traits. For example, outgoing people, more extroverted people may use more social strategies, whereas more introverted learners, right? They probably use different strategies. Um, on top of that, motivational level also affect our strategy use. The highly motivated learners are more willing to try different strategies, so they probably use more strategies. Okay, purpose for learning, and then the years of the learning, and then finally, I would like to talk about the ESL and EFL learning context. Now, here is my question for you. Okay, I would like you to think about the fact that, do you think learners in an ESL context, for example, okay, a Taiwanese student learning English in the USA, or okay, a Taiwanese learner okay, using English here in Taiwan, that is in an EFL context. Now, which context do you think require more strategy use? In other words, okay, do you think ESL learners use more strategies, okay, or EFL learners use more strategies when they learn English? We will okay come back to talk about the answer okay on Monday, but think about this. Okay. Okay. So we are done with the 12 features for language learning strategies. Now we are going to look at the strategy taxonomy provided by Rebecca Oxford in 1990. Now I would like to draw your attention to the fact that different researchers actually put strategies into different categories. For example, Shamal and O'Malley in I think also in 1990, they came up with a 3 categories, in terms of language learning strategies. So for their taxonomy, there is the cognitive strategies, metacognitive strategies, and finally, social affective strategies. But my advisor, Rebecca Oxford, she is more analytical, I think. In 1990, based on her research, she put learning strategies into 2 big categories. And then under which there are 3 different strategy categories. All right. According to Rebecca Oxford, direct strategies are strategies that are directly related to learning itself. For example, memory strategies. Think about how many memory strategies Taiwanese learners use in order to pass all these tests, exams, no matter which subject area you are studying. So according to Rebecca Oxford, she divided memory strategies into 4 subcategories, namely creating mental linkage, applying images and sounds, reviewing well, and also employing actions. And then you can see she used CARE, like an acronym, right, to represent memory strategies. What about cognitive strategies? You might know the word cognition actually is about learning. So cognitive strategies, very self-explanatory. They refer to strategies that are directly related to learning. For example, practicing, right? Learning a language. Who wouldn't need to practice, right? Receiving and sending messages. So when we take in information or when we try to retrieve the information, right, we need to use the strategies. What about analyzing and reasoning, right? This is also important. And then creating structure for input and output. So today I will just give a brief introduction, but when we move on to chapter 2, we will provide more detailed explanation. Then finally, compensation strategies. There are 2 sub strategies involved. First one is guessing intelligently. Now we all use guessing strategies, but do we just guess without thinking carefully about why we do this guess? You will know that we when we encounter a new word that we don't know what it means, what do? We try to guess the meaning, but we don't just guess the meaning blindly, right? We would guess the meaning based on the context, right? The sentence that comes before the word and the sentence that comes after the word, right? So this is what we mean, guessing intelligently. The last one is called overcoming limitations in speaking and writing. Now, speaking and writing are 2 output skills. So in other words, when we communicate in writing or when we communicate, right, in speaking with others, there will be times when we don't know the word, we need to, use compensation strategies, okay, to overcome these limitations. All right, so finally here we are, okay, our last slide about indirect strategies. Now, according to Rebecca Oxford, she believes that there is the metacognitive strategies, affective strategies, and then the social strategies. Okay, these strategies at first glance, they might seem, not so much related to learning a language. However, according to research, we know that for someone who has a stronger metacognition, in other words, for learners who use more metacognitive strategies, okay, such as planning, organizing, evaluating, and also monitoring, they um, stand a better chance to become more successful language learners. Now, I'm sure you would agree, right? Okay, so think about yourself. Do you do planning, organizing, evaluating, and monitoring a lot for your learning, not just in language learning? All right, what about effective strategies? Now, effective strategies refer to how we try to lower our anxiety in language learning, how we encourage ourselves, okay, when we encounter difficulties and setbacks in learning, and also, okay, how we take our emotional temperature. Now, what does that mean? Okay, that means we pay attention to our emotional response. We pay attention to our motivational issues. Okay, if we don't feel like studying, okay, we would, drop it. Okay, go and do something that we enjoy doing, and then come back, to learning again. Now, by doing this, we are applying effective strategies. All right, finally, there is social strategies under indirect strategies. Now, remember, language is for the purpose of communication. Therefore, we communicate with people in speaking or in writing. In other words, we apply social strategies, okay, when we communicate with others, such as asking questions, cooperating with others, or empathizing, okay, with others. It is important that we put ourselves in other people's shoes when it comes to learning a language. For example, thinking about why a word or a phrase is used specifically, okay, in a culture, right? So all these are very important. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your kind patience listening, okay, to me using so many OKs. I apologize. So in our next lecture, we will start looking into the in chapter 2, okay, the direct strategies. So I look forward to your response after you finish it, reading and also, okay, right, the viewing of this lecture recording. So please go to the Digital Learning Center to either respond to a TQ, okay, or okay, share your TQ. All right. So and then don't forget to do the questionnaire, right, to let me know. All right. So thank you very much.